Welcome back to the program. This is Night Talk. I'm your guest host of the evening, Jerry Bowyer. We've got Glenn Meekum here. We also have Diana Irie, who we're going to try to get a word in edgewise because Glenn and I like the sound of our voices quite a bit, both as former or current radio talk show hosts. And we might even take a few phone calls at 412-333-PCNC, 412-333-PCNC. Diana, anything you want to say about this end-of-life issue? Sarah Palin got lambasted for that phrase, death panels. But it seems to me she was sort of onto something.
I think she is onto something, because when you have the government making decisions about what procedures are actually going to be approved to be administered to somebody, that's going to affect their health, it's going to affect their life when they die. Right. And we were talking about competition, and one thing I wanted to add was what they're doing in deciding what's proposed to decide what doctors even get paid for what they do. They're taking away any incentive for a physician to strive to be the best. And so what's going to happen? We're going to have a group of mediocre physicians and nursing staff because nobody has an incentive to do better because they're going to get patients?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
If we turn it into a civil service profession, there will be a decline in quality. I mean, we have the best doctors in the world.
We do.
Because it's highly esteemed, because it's financially rewarding, because there's a lot of freedom, and they get to do what they want because there's freedom built into it. You turn it into the DMV, and you're just not, the best and brightest are not going to become physicians, in my opinion.
But we can't defend the status quo.
Right.
Okay, because what we have right now is, like, Medicare spending went up by 25% last year. Medicaid spending went up by 12% last year.
Right.
We have, when you combine the unfunded liability, the difference between the total liability we have for all the people who are going to get older and eventually have steep medical care needs and eventually pass away, compared to the taxes that are currently paying, it's a $50 trillion deficit.
Yeah.
So, and we have quality issues. Right. Are hospitals really at the quality that we need to have them in terms of hospital-borne infections and that kind of thing? There are real issues in our healthcare system today. And we have a choice. And there's a choice. You can move towards individuals, consumerism in healthcare, where individuals have more control, make their own decisions.
Right.
Or you can make a decision, or you can move towards government control.
Right.
Canada, Britain, these countries have government-controlled systems where the government does ration care. There are panels, not death panels per se, but there are panels that advise the government on what will be covered at what age and that kind of thing.
Yes.
A 78-year-old is not going to get a heart bypass, etc.
Right.
And that's the direction the Obama administration, the left, wants to go in. They want to go in this direction of government control over our lives. And I think, actually, if we really want to get control over healthcare spending and have better quality for all of us,
but the patient
and have more
in charge.
freedom,
Right.
we should be in charge.
Right, I agree. So, you know what, I like your point about not defending the status quo, and I think we have a caller who's going to help us make that point. Jackie, you're on PCNC.
Yeah, I would just like to say, with all due respect, you guys have been in charge pre-Obama for the last 8 years. Nobody did anything for the uninsured.
I haven't been in charge of anything, Jackie.
No, I'm just saying the Republican Party was in charge for the last 8 years.
Okay.
If they would have opened up the state borders, like you're saying, to let health insurance go across to other states, etc.
Yeah.
If they left everybody insured, then we wouldn't even have to have this conversation about a universal.
Well, all right. Help me understand the "you guys" comment here, because I think everyone here.
Republicans are in charge.
One second. I'm in charge of the calls. The idea of reforming health care is something that everyone on this panel has said we're in favor of opening up the competition. We're in favor of putting the patient in charge rather than the bureaucracy. And just because Republicans are stupid has nothing to do, and they certainly have been. I don't see what that has to do. Well, I'm saying Republicans are stupid on this issue because they haven't really. Well, I'm saying they were stupid on this issue because they didn't do anything about it. But why does that end up on our lap?
Well, because all they do is they try and fear people into keeping 46 million people uninsured.
Do you want?
If they want to, if they say,
Jackie, hold on a second. Do you want to deal with the people who are uninsured? You want that, right? Maybe I took her off.
I think the people in this country should be able to get.
Jackie, I'm going to try to have a conversation with you, which helps if you don't filibuster. Jackie, do you want to deal with the issue of people who are uninsured? Do you want to deal with that issue?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why not just give a voucher to the roughly 5 million households that are chronically uninsured. I looked at the Census Department. We do not have 47 million Americans uninsured. We have that 47 million includes illegal aliens. It includes people who are actually wealthy enough to afford insurance but don't bother to buy it. It includes a lot of young people. So if you really get down to people who are chronically uninsured, it's about 15 million people. It's about 15 million people. If you're interested in any facts here, rather than filibustering, it's about 15 million people, which is about 5 million households. So why in the world, Jackie, do we need to change the system for 310 million Americans like you and I to deal with a problem that really affects about 5 million households? Why can't we just give them the money in the form of a voucher to buy health care insurance? Why can't we do that? Why nationalize the whole system to deal with 5 million people?
Well, because 5 million people don't have health insurance. What part of caring about other people don't you care about?
The part that I don't get, the part that I don't get, Jackie, the part that I don't get is that we're going to screw up the system for 97% of the people rather than just giving a voucher to the people who actually need it. Why not do that, Jackie? Why not just give money to the 5 million households that actually need it? I want an answer to that question before I let you go.
Do that?
Because Republicans couldn't get it through the Democrats didn't want it. The Republicans weren't really that interested in fighting for it. And Jackie, you're not that interested in helping poor people. And the Democrats haven't been. This is a great issue. I'm glad we brought this issue up. We could have dealt with the uninsured years ago. If the Democrats wanted to deal with the issue of uninsured Americans, you solve that $25 billion a year. Not a $1 trillion nationalization program. Vouchers to 5 million families of $5,000 each. Do the math, Jackie. It's not hard. Use your calculator. $25 billion a year, not $1 trillion. But they didn't do it because they wanted the issue and they wanted the power. And that's what this is about. I'm all for taking care of the uninsured. We could do it in a matter of a couple of weeks. The legislation could be designed very simple. Voucher to the few people who actually can't afford health insurance. Right. Instead, we're going to attack people's capacity.
Because the issue is, and I have a friend who runs a small business in Pittsburgh, and it's a small manufacturing company. This is a $2 or $3 million a year revenue business, 50 employees, small manufacturing business. Yeah. And we were having breakfast about 6 or 7 weeks ago, and he said, you know, the irony of this whole program is that it's going to hurt 85% of the people, 90% of the people so badly.
Yes.
The average Pittsburgher who's making $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year, $40,000 a year, it's totally shafted.
Right.
That's the reality, because most people are 85, not 50%, not 52%, not 55%. 85% of the people are happy with their private insurance, are happy with the care, or they're happy with their current insurance, and with the care they're getting.
See, it's about power. We're going to go to a break now, but remember this: it's about power. Whenever you hear someone say we need to have national health care, rather than just give vouchers to 5 or 10 million people, which would be cheaper and easier, and everyone would remain free. Jackie didn't have an answer. Ask your friends who are pushing for national health care whether they have an answer to the question that's better than Jackie's. They won't. I'm Jerry Bowyer. We'll be back with more Night Talk in just a moment. Accident